Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Taroscopes again. We're going to be doing the Taroscopes for the sign of Scorpio. That's Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Moon, Scorpio Rising for the month of September 2025. Hard to believe we're in September already. Today, before we get started, I want to welcome my new subscribers. Welcome to this wonderful community of like-minded souls. I think you're going to have a good time here. I also think you're going to meet people you know from other channels here. To my tried and true who have been with me for years and have walked this rather circuitous path with me, thank you so much. You know how much I appreciate you. To my Patreon folks who have been supporting me for years, I also want to give you a huge thank you and a big hug from me. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. And to my new members on my channel, thank you so much for supporting me in the way you do. It does help me to get more material out to you and to everybody else. And so thank you from the bottom of my heart. I do have 2 levels of membership if you are interested in doing that. Um, and the more members I get, the more I can put out. So thank you so much again for your continued support. All right, let's get to it with Scorpio. And we're going to be looking at the astrology first and then how it specifically fits into the Scorpio picture. And then I'll be doing a card reading. And if you are just interested in the card reading, it is time stamped below, so you can go right to the card reading if you need to. All right, let's get started. So let me share my screen here. Okay. All right. There we go. My computer is a little slow today. Just like me. Why not? There we go. Okay. So, oh, that's exactly what happened the last time. All right. That was me. There we go. All right. September 2025. We are in an 18-9 vibration for September. We have the 9 universal year vibration. 2025 is a 9 year, and we're in the 9th month. So that's especially special. That's a special. And if we add 9 and 9 together, we get the 18. That's how we get the monthly month year vibration. 9 in the tarot is the Hermit card. And as I've said almost constantly this year, the 9 year is about separating out that which we want to keep and bring forward into the next cycle, and that which we want to release and let go of. And we have plenty of things to work with, don't we, in this 9 year? It has been quite the uh, tornado of of things to look at, to observe. In some cases, just watch it fly by because we don't have because of the amount of information coming at us, we don't really have time to necessarily discern, but we're certainly getting an eyeful. And this is a 9 year of which this 9 year cycle that we're in 2025 actually began back in 2017 when we were in a 10-1 year. Next year, we're going to be in a 10-1 year. That is the Wheel of Fortune, and that's the change of fortune energy. And so we will see what that will bring. But we're still here now, and we're in the 9th month of the 9 year. So that is especially important. The Hermit card is a card of wisdom. It's a card of sharing your light. It is, of course, along with the 9, a card of healing. It can be a card where you feel like you're isolating yourself. That's fine. That's fine because there's work ahead. You're not isolating yourself to escape, but you're isolating yourself to evaluate what it is that you're keeping and what it is that you're letting go of. And of course, we have the double 9. It is associated with the sign of Virgo. Of course, the sun's in Virgo this month, but we also have eclipses in Virgo and Pisces. The 18-9 vibration, the sort of 9+9 energy, is Pisces. And so the moon is Pisces in the tarot. So the two cards that are being highlighted this month are actually in the signs that we're having the eclipses. And the Pisces Virgo axis is about healing. It's about discernment. It's about healing. It's about forgiveness. It's about letting go. Okay, so we have all of those things right in front of us. So let's take a look at the month of September and then we'll apply it to Scorpio. We start the month with Saturn slipping back into Pisces, and it will be in Pisces until the beginning of next year. This last bit of Pisces that Saturn is moving through is sort of like cleaning out the closet. So we've done a lot of releasing, we've done a lot of cleaning out of the closet. A lot of structures in our lives have dissolved away, but we still have some things in the corners. And so this might be the nittiest grittiest of letting go of stuff at this time, right? And so for Scorpio, Scorpio is the sign of death and rebirth. You're pretty used to having to clean out the karmic closets. In fact, perhaps your whole life has been one big clean out of a karmic closet. And so with Saturn there in Pisces, you're getting actually getting some help with that, I guess. And so it really does require us to let go. And so be prepared to let go where it is necessary. On the second, Mercury moves into Virgo. Mercury is the planet of communication. Virgo is a sign that's ruled by Mercury. So this is a great time to deal with the details. Mercury in Virgo is very discerning, and so we will have an opportunity. And this will come in handy because you do have to discern what you want to keep and what you want to let go of. By the 18th, Mercury ingresses into Libra. For you, that is your 12th house. Karmic residual. So it's just a real for Scorpio, especially for all of us, but Scorpio especially, it really is a clean out month. Clean it out, clean it out. Um, Mercury in Virgo, as it moves into Virgo, as the planets move into Virgo, they come up against the transpersonal planets that are all in this sort of mini grand trine with each other. And so anytime something moves into the start of a sign, in this case Virgo, but also when things move into Libra, it's going to activate that mini grand trine and give us an opportunity to change things and evolve rather quickly. Now, the mind, Mercury, is having a bit of a problem when it's in Virgo because all of the aspects to it are difficult. We have an inconjunct, we have a square, we have an inconjunct. Inconjuncts can be irritating, squares can create crisis, and so we're having a crisis of mind and a need to adjust to a different way of thinking about things and perhaps in some cases feeling about things. On the 4th, Mars makes a square to Jupiter. Um, Mars is action, Jupiter expands, square is crisis. So actions because of a crisis, or perhaps the actions you take create a crisis. The thing about Jupiter is that we can tend to do too much with Jupiter and we go overboard. Jupiter is in Cancer now, and so it's a very emotional place for Jupiter, although Jupiter does really like being in Cancer. I believe it's exalted in Cancer, and so it's a good sign for Jupiter, but it can bring up a lot of feelings and emotions. And you're a Scorpio, so you already have those. Although you may not share them with others, you may actually end up sharing them. On the 6th, Uranus, the planet of chaos and change, stations retrograde at 2 degrees of Gemini. It just moved into Gemini back on 7/7. Now it's going to start to move backwards, and it will go back into Taurus. Not quite done with Taurus. It will go back into Taurus, I believe, in November, October, November. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's November though. And then it will stay in Taurus until April. So we still have some things to work out with Uranus and Taurus. Taurus is the most stable sign and Uranus is the most unstable energy. And we've been going through this for years now. It's been in Taurus, I think, since 2018. So it's not new, but it's sort of like, again, there's this energy of Uh, you know, it's like when you leave everything to the last minute and then it's that's what the planets are doing. They're leaving, like they're doing their work and then they're sort of dipping into something new and then they're like, oh right, I got to finish this and they jump back in there. So that's sort of the energy. So if you're feeling that, you're just feeling what's out there. Yeah. On the 7th, we have a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, 16 degrees of Pisces, finding grace and stillness. Well, that's helpful because there isn't a whole lot of stillness. And if we want to find grace, we're going to have to find a way to focus ourselves. Remember, we're in a nine month of a 9 year, and you are going to have to, as I said, isolate yourself. You may need to pick your spots here, right? You can't be open to everything. You have to know when to close the door so that you can focus from the inside and see how you feel about certain things, and then you can always come back out. um, on the 12th, the Sun and Mercury both make a sextile to Jupiter. That actually opens up the lines of communication, opens up some progressive thinking, um, more expansive. So this month is sort of like periods of like super intensity, then sort of going in and then coming out with an idea. Or so it's almost like breathing. I mean, it is like breathing. It's not almost like you breathe in, you breathe out, you breathe in, you breathe out. But there's a definite intensity between the in breath and the out breath here. We do have a conjunction of the Sun to Mercury. Mercury is moving direct, so it's called a superior conjunction. From where we are on Earth, we have the Sun, and then behind the Sun is Mercury. So in a way, here on Earth, it almost acts like an opposition. So it does bring a certain amount of perspective for us, as opposed to, and the answers are out there. We can see the answers. When Mercury is retrograde, which is considered an inferior conjunction, which is, this is not, I'm just telling you the difference, the answers lie within. So the answers are actually out there. We just have to look for them. Okay. Um, on the 15th, middle of the month, the Ides of September, as it were, we have a lovely trine, a sextile, excuse me, between Venus and Mars. That's helpful because Venus and Mars are the two planets that sort of are in charge of how we relate to one another. And they're in a sextile. They're open. They're opportunistic to each other. We can learn something from each other. We can talk to each other. I think that's very important. And then only 2 days later, Mercury makes an opposition to Saturn. Mercury still in Virgo. Saturn, of course, in that last degree of Pisces, as it just moved in back into Pisces. And so this is awareness around what needs to be healed. The next day, Mercury ingresses into Libra and then makes an opposition to Neptune, because Neptune is still in Aries in that first degree now and will be moving backwards and out of Aries and back into Pisces, where it will spend, I think, 3 months, and then it'll move back into Aries the beginning of next year. So just like Saturn dips back in, comes back out. But this month, it's in Aries. It's in Aries, and we have an opposition when Mercury moves into Libra. Now, Libra and Aries are the I vow energy, and anytime we're dealing with Neptune, there can be some confusion. It's not as clear as we perhaps would like it to be. We might have to feel our way through some things. Venus then on the 19th ingresses into Virgo, and as I said, when the planet moves into a new sign, in this case Venus in Virgo, it's making all these challenging aspects to those transpersonal planets. You may feel out of touch with your values and the values of the world at large. Um, on the 21st, we have the Sun making an opposition to Saturn, the Sun in Virgo making an opposition to Saturn. And then on the same day, we have a new moon in Virgo. And of course, that new moon is going to be opposite Saturn. So there's a reality check here, but it also is an eclipse. It's also an eclipse. An eclipse is always transformational. It is a new moon eclipse. uh, it is on the south node of the moon. So even though it's a new moon, it's going to require us to let go of something because it's on the south node, and that's the function of the south node. It's where we release that which no longer serves us. But it also is a repository for talents and abilities that we have. So we can actually access some talents and abilities while during this period. So even though it sounds like it's going to be tough, we have what we need to move through it and get through it. On the 22nd, Mars moves into Scorpio. Now, Mars has been in Libra. Mars doesn't particularly like being in Libra. Mars in Libra is also all about considered action. And Mars really doesn't like to consider anything but what it wants. Now it moves into Scorpio, the planet, the sign of confrontation, your sign, Scorpio. And so it is a powerful time with Mars there. Use it well and use it wisely because karma will come to get you if you do the wrong thing. On the 23rd, we have the Sun making an opposition to Neptune. Neptune in Aries, the Sun, right, newly in Libra. And of course, that Sun ingress into Libra means that we are in the fall equinox here in the Northern Hemisphere, spring in the Southern Hemisphere. I know the Southerners are looking forward to their spring. They've had a very cold winter down there on the other side of the world. And we will be moving into fall, which we might also be happy about because we had a pretty hot summer. And fall is always such a beautiful time, at least for me. It's one of my favorite seasons. Um, all right. At the end of the month, the 24th, the Sun makes a lovely trine to Pluto that is a flow of powerful energy. And the Sun, of course, is in Libra. Pluto is in Aquarius. Both air signs, both deal with how we relate to one another and how humans relate to humans. But we also have on that day Mars making a in conjunct to Uranus and a square to Pluto. Uranus and Pluto are in a pretty tight relationship to each other. They are sextile each other right now, very, very powerfully. Part of oh, is it? No, they're trying each other. Uranus, Uranus and Pluto are actually trying each other. Part of the Pluto-Uranus synodic cycle that began in the mid 60s. So we're in the place of creative self-expression with that. But personally, with Mars in your sign, Scorpio, it's going to be a little bit challenging. So the end of the month, you're going to have your challenges. Okay, so let me bring your chart into this specifically, even though I did mention some things, but I'll just continue to mention. All right, here we go, Scorpio. So you can see that we have quite a bit of energy at the top of the chart here, especially in these, right in here, in this area of the chart. This is the most collective area of the chart. And so you'll be out in the world doing your thing. We do have some stuff going on below the horizon here. We'll start with your ruling planet, Pluto. Pluto's down in that fourth house, going to be there for another 18, 19 years. You're digging up ancestral stuff, right? It's in Aquarius, so this is about the Aquarian age, the power to the people. But an evaluation of maybe even some past life stuff for you, Scorpio. Oops, sorry about that. That was an accident. That was an accident. We have the full moon in Pisces, 16 degrees of Pisces, with the sun in up here in Virgo. This is the axis that gets activated by the full moon, and it is also an eclipse. And it is the axis of Leo and Aquarius, and it is the axis of love. And so issues around love, and it's personal love in the case of the fifth house and impersonal love in the case of the 11th house. So is friends and lovers, guys. Here's Saturn. As I said, it starts in Aries, but after just a few hours, it moves into Pisces. So Saturn will be in Pisces in your fifth house. So you may be resolving some issues with some old lovers here, letting go, cleaning out those karmic, closets. Try to say that one time fast. Not easy. There's Neptune. Neptune is going to be staying all month in your sixth house. Do have to watch your health. When Neptune is in the sixth house, sometimes it's hard to diagnose things because Neptune is so diffuse. So be aware. It also rules the immune system. So if you can do stuff to support your immune system and boost your immune system, you're better off. And that's going to be true the whole time Neptune is there. And so get your how to boost your immune system information because you're going to be using it for a long time. Here's Uranus. Uranus does station retrograde. It is happening in your eighth house, the natural house for Scorpio. So we could have some upsetment in some relationships or in money around relationships, any shared resources. So there can be a surprise there that you need to deal with. Jupiter up in the ninth house. Jupiter likes the ninth house. It's the natural house that it rules, right? It's in the natural chart. It's Sagittarius' house. It's in Cancer, and this is about truth and justice, and of course, with an eye towards family and what's fair and supporting family. Venus starts the month in your 10th house in Leo and then quickly moves into Virgo. The 10th house is the house of your career, the 11th house is the house of friends and networking. So with Venus up there, there's a lot of networking out in the outer world. Mercury starts in Leo. Now Mercury spent all of July and all of August in Leo, so it doesn't take a long time for it to jump into Virgo, where it functions very well. Discernment, right? It's going to have that conjunction to the sun when it's in that 11th house, and so. The information will be right there in front of your face to discern and to see what you need to know about your friends, your goals, your networks. Your technology is also that house. Mercury will then move into Libra, go into that 12th house, along with the sun at the equinox, will move into that 10th house. Mars actually starts, did I say 10th? I meant 12th. Mars starts in the 12th house and then moves into Scorpio. When it moves into Scorpio, it moves into your first house of your I am. This is pretty powerful combination. What I would say is just be careful with the way that you exert your energy out there. I know most of the Scorpios that watch this are on the higher side of Scorpio because people on the lower side of Scorpio don't really watch me or don't really care to know what I have to say. Um, but this does give you a lot of power. So know that you have a lot of power in the palm of your hand at this point. And of course, utilize it well. It's also a good energy for you to do something in your own life, if you want to have a new health regime or transform your body in some way, right? People do Pilates, they do yoga, they're doing Tai Chi, different ways to strengthen and help your physical body. With Mars there, that will be an opportunity to do that. So generally, I think a pretty, it's an intense month because it's eclipse season, but you live an intense life, Scorpio. So this is not for somebody who doesn't live quite as an intense life, it may be more of a shock to them. But for you, I think that you have what it takes to move through this time. Remember, we're in a 9 year, in a 9 month. You do need to let go of any resentments that you might have because they will eventually only hurt you. So that's something to consider. Okay, so that's the story for that. I'm going to stop the share. Maybe. Oh, there we are. And I'm going to do card reading. Now let me see. Is this? Nope, that's not the cards I want. Oh, here we go. All right. So I'm going to be using the Tarot of Transformation, which I like using for Scorpio because your sign is the sign of transformation. And this is a lovely deck with lovely colors. Very, very soft in its way, but penetrating. All right. Let's see. See what we have here. Oops. Okay, hold on 1 minute here. Okay, let's see what the cards have to say, Scorpio. We start with the Seven of Discs called Incubation in this deck. This is we're not quite ready. There still needs still things still need to gestate, especially around projects or around issues of resources. But it's just a waiting game at this point. It's a waiting game. There can be a need to do some pruning here. So if there's anything draining your energy, this is the time to sort of cut away with that. And what's crossing it is gracious abundance, gracious abundance. Um, I think that you're waiting for the gracious abundance, and I think that is what the challenge is just to have patience around that. Underneath it, oh, we have the chariot. So things are moving quickly. You're moving in the right direction. So there's this weird energy of having to be patient and wait while your feet are like going a million miles an hour. It's almost like you're on the treadmill, but you're not actually, you don't feel like you're moving forward necessarily. Let's see what's in the past. So in the past, we have the sun. There was an illumination, a recent illumination, a recent truth, a recent revelation. And perhaps it was a revelation on the direction that you need to go and you want to go, but you still have to wait. As we start the month, you still have to wait. In the sky, we have the balance card. So this is spirit saying balance yourself with the need to maybe move forward and to be patient at the same time. That's a hard one. I know. I have the same problem. We have the Nine of Discs coming up this is the card for the month really, and this is about utilizing your wisdom, utilizing your resources, finding a safe space. It is in this deck called Instinctual Wisdom, so you will know what to do, and the resources are here. It's just as you start the month, they're not quite ready. I think by the end of the month, you'll have a handle on all of that. How it's seen from the outside, people see you as the big dreamer right now. This is dream time, but you can't manifest anything that you haven't imagined you can manifest. So they might be saying, "Oh, you're dreaming big." And you're like, "Yeah, I am." And that's what I'm going to do. Your domestic situation, the Seven of Wands here, called Opening to Angels. This is about opening your chakras, and this is your domestic situation. So that is a good way to spend your time at home, perhaps, is aligning your chakras, opening yourself up to spirit on every level. That opening up to spirit on every level is sort of the energy of the rainbow warrior. You're moving into your warriorship based on your ability to for all your chakras to be open. And so you can take on what's coming because we have a new world that we're building together, and that is coming shortly. We just have to clean out some closets before we can get there. Hopes and fears, inner seeing. Um, I would say the hope and the fear might be entwined here, and that am I really seeing that? Is it really true that what I visualize to happen can actually happen? And I would say yes. I would say yes to that. We have the server of discs here as an outcome. This is a true friend. This is somebody who you can depend upon. And so you don't have to go it alone. And if you're feeling a little unsure, ask a friend to help you because you will get the help. And there we go. And you may not agree on everything, but there is a place where you do agree, and that's where you want to put your energy. You want to put your energy where you are on the same page, but you don't have to be exactly on the same page. You can have parts of yourself that you keep to yourself, but when you're connecting with that person, that friend, that helper, that partner, uh, the birth comes where you come together, right? And then let's see if we can get. We have a mental detour here. You do have to deal with your emotional issues, so don't try to detour from that. And let's see if we can. And then we have the Temperance card, which is the card of the mystic. It's the card of healing. It's the card of balance. It's important that you stay balanced and that you don't get pulled off your center by anything or anyone. Underneath it all is we have the wisdom of the crone. So it's based on your wisdom. The Four of Wands, an open heart. So we have wisdom, an open heart, and the Green Man, which is the masculine creative force of nature. Um, these are all very good cards. I would say the only thing that really is a little bit of a fly in the ointment is that in the beginning you don't feel like it's happening fast enough. But give it time, allow it to unfold, and you're going to have the healing, you're going to have the balance, and you're going to have the experiences that you need, I think, to make the best of your situation, whatever that might be. All right, one more card. We're going to pull a Tree of Life Oracle card, and that'll be it. Oops. Uh-oh. Yikes. Something just jumped out. What jumped out? The moon. Oh yeah, this is the card of the month, right? The moon. This is the Pisces energy. So that full moon in Pisces is going to be significant for you. Okay, hold on. Let me just read this for you, and then I will let you go on with your day. Evolution, simplicity, and the animal kingdom. This path runs between Malkuth and Netzach, and is Pisces in astrology. All things watery are found here in the subconscious mind, emotional responses, intuition, and family. The Piscean energy in your own chart will offer up more insights. And remember that the Pisces energy, that full moon, lunar eclipse are full moons are generally releasing times. When you have an eclipse, it's even bigger and more significant, and it is around issues of love. And always remember, Scorpio, that self-love is the beginning and the end. All right, guys, have yourself a great month. Take care of yourselves. Be careful out there. Much love to you all. Until October, I'll see you again then. Namaste.